These are the new Auxetic 2.0 Radicals, and in today's video we're going to be comparing them to the competition to identify their strengths and their weaknesses in order to find out if they are the right choice for your game. But first, I'm actually legitimately one of the best people in the world at picking fantasy tennis. Year to date, so from January till now, I'm actually 6th overall. I did really well in Australia. But the question is, can you do better than me? So Tweener is basically just a fantasy tennis league. It's free to play, it's free to sign up, and you can pick 8 players that you think are gonna go the farthest in whatever major tournament is coming up. They've got 250s, 500s, 1000s, and slams. I just finished 4th place at Indian Wells, but if you think you can do better than I can do, join me in Miami. I'm gonna put a link in the description so you can join a private TennCom league and play against the best. Don't forget to add me as a friend. I'm One Punch Chungus. You can also add Simon. He's Dread, all caps. I don't know why. The better you do, the more coins you win, and you can actually use these coins to buy real prizes, like you need a new pair of tennis shoes, a new tennis racket, even just balls to supplement your everyday tennis experience. So check out the links in the description, support TennCom, and play some Tweener with us. Back to the actual meat of the video. The Radical Pro and the Radical MP are 2 different rackets, but they definitely feel like they're in the same family. You get that really raw, responsive, connected feel out of these Radicals. They're probably the most responsive frames in Head's entire lineup. The MP is a little bit lighter at 300 grams. The Pro is heavier at 315. The Pro, you can also see, has a slightly thinner beam, more control, definitely more feel, whereas the MP has better stability and a little bit of easier power, especially to make up for that lighter weight. I personally really liked the Auxetic 1.0 Radical MP. It was a racket that I was kind of part of my switching journey as I was looking to replace my 360 plus Extreme Tours. Ultimately, I didn't stick with the Radical MP because it was hard for me to get that spin production, especially on my forehand, which is a very spin-oriented shot. I would consider myself a spin-oriented player. And I'm sorry to report that that flaw is still here with the Auxetic 2.0 Radical MP. It's definitely plays best hitting flat, hitting through the court. It's hard to lift the ball and get a lot of spin. On my backhand and forehand serves from all areas of the court, I was having a hard time finding that up and down. But if you prefer to hit a little bit flatter, lower over the net, the Radical MP is one of the better choices on the market. That said, it makes me wonder, is it the best choice? And I don't think it is. And that's the problem with a lot of the things that Head has been doing in the last couple of updates. Like with their Auxetic updates, they're not doing anything that really makes any specific racket extremely competitive. They do have a couple gems. The Gravity Pro, absolute gem. The new Gravity Tour, definitely a gem. But the rest of their lineup is kind of falling short to the industry leaders. And the ones that I would consider major competition for this Radical MP are, on paper, I think the closest competitor is the TFIGHT 300S, another 98 square inch, 300 gram with a 16 by 19 string pattern. But I think a lot of people who are considering the Radical MP should also be considering the new EZONE 98, another 98 square inch racket with a lot of like headlight feeling, really fast through the air, great for flat shots, a tighter 16 by 19 string pattern, just like the Radical MP, that's going to give you that great control on flat shots and encourage you to hit through the court. So why would you ever choose the Radical over either of these 2 rackets? And I'm honestly not exactly sure. The big weakness, in my opinion, with this Radical MP is twofold. Number 1, there's not very much stability or power in the upper hoop. It has a tapered beam, so it's thinnest here at 20 millimeters, goes up to 23 in the midsection, and then back down to 21 in the tip. And these are coming in with a slightly lower swing weight as most of the Head 98s do, but the thinner tip and the lack of swing weight means there's nothing much supporting ball contact if you make contact in the upper third. If you're the kind of player that hits kind of more in the middle or lower down on the string bed, that's when you're going to get the best performance out of this. But these rackets still perform great lower in the string bed, but they're going to be way more stable, way more powerful, and way more spin friendly towards the tip. So that's one big weakness with this Radical MP. What's another big weakness? I don't think the feel is that great. I think, okay, it's good if you like a stiff control feel. That's good. But I think the T-Fight feels better. It's more connected. It's more solid because of that foam filling. And it just feels more organic. The issue I have with this Radical MP for the Auxetic 2.0 specifically is it's added more of that rubbery feel. The Auxetic in the handle robs a lot of the ball connection that we got with the previous version. I feel way more dialed in with the Auxetic 1.0 version, even though I would say ultimately the playability differences aren't that different between the two. It's just this one has like a rubberiness, so you can't really fully identify where you hit the ball on the string bed because all these vibrations are kind of getting killed in the handle. But that doesn't even make it a more comfortable experience. As I was testing these Radicals with a bunch of different string setups, I was feeling a lot of tightness in my forearm. There's a lot of vibration that just feels like is going on with these frames, and I wouldn't call them comfortable. That said, neither is the T-Fight, but if you do need comfort, the EZONE 98 is the way to go. Yeah, in our last review, we had some people who had some mixed experiences with comfort, but the RA is lower on the EZONE. I think there's way more flex in this one, and you can still feel where you hit that ball on the string bed, which is still making me wonder, who should buy this Radical MP? But maybe you're a head guy. You want to use head, you're a head loyalist for whatever reason. Even in Head's own lineup, I think there's better options. I think the Extreme Pro offers a lot of the benefits of this Radical MP, but it feels more connected. I don't know if it feels more connected, but it feels more organic. It feels more natural. There's a little bit less of this rubberiness. You can feel where you hit it on the string bed. The spin potential is way higher, but I don't think you lose out that much on directional control because there's actual stability in the upper hoop, so you're not required to hit lower central to get any kind of performance. And then the other issue that I have is, yes, there is a rubbery feel, but that's made kind of even worse because the dwell time on this Radical is so short. And the Radical MP has always had a really short dwell time, meaning it feels like the ball comes in and out of the string bed really quickly. But combine that with the rubberiness and you're just losing what's going on the string bed. Whereas with the Extreme Pro, at least you get decent dwell time, so it gives you a little bit more time to feel where that ball made contact. And I would pick the Extreme Pro over the Radical MP every single day. Another racket I would pick over the Radical MP basically every single day is actually the Radical Pro. But even the Radical Pro, I'm not sure I feel like I can really recommend to that many players. So yes, it is a 98, but the sweet spot is pretty dang small. Again, I think if you're a player who likes that stiffer control feel, this is probably going to be something that you at least don't mind, but I don't think it's going to ever be the best racket for you. I think the old Solinco Whiteout 1820 with a 10-gram weight control module in the butt cap, that's going to get you up to the 315. You're going to get way better stability in the hoop, a more connected feel, a more solid feel because it is foam filled, and you're not going to get this rubberiness of Auxetic 2.0. But even if you like a hint of rubberiness, a little bit more plushness, then I don't know why you don't just go with the new Whiteout, which has a softer, slightly more powerful, more stable feel than the old one, but then you're not getting quite that same raw experience. But if what you really want is a raw experience, then I think going with one of these niche brands like this Hazel 98 is an even better choice. Okay, they do come in a little bit heavier, but you can get these customized by the owner to a spec that's going to work a little bit better for you, guaranteed 1-to-1 spec matching, and it's blacked out, which is also sick. I actually don't mind the paint job on these Radicals, but it doesn't beat all blacked out. Again, though, the sweet spot on this is absolutely tiny. So if you want something a little more generous, still has this raw, classic, player, pro stocky kind of feel, then I think the real racket you should probably go for, instead of the Radical Pro, and the racket that I think probably competes with it most closely on the spec sheet, is the Prostaff 97. 315, decent swing weight, okay, smaller head size, but I think the sweet spot on the Prostaff is bigger. There's just like more better placed head weight in the tip. The feel is way more solid. It's just as connected. You can feel where you hit the ball on the strings a little bit better, and you get way less drop off in performance outside center. Contact towards the tip is way better on the Prostaff 97, and I would just rather use that racket every single day of the week. And so the way I want to end this video is just by honestly criticize. Okay, I've criticized Head this entire video, and I've criticized them like crazy in the past, but I just don't understand what they're doing with a lot of these frames. You know, they have more silos than everybody else. They've got Radical, Prestige, Extreme, Boom, Gravity. I can't even always remember all of them. The Speed. There's like 6 major silos, and there's so much overlap between them. And I really think that they need to trim those silos and work on making a racket that is extremely competitive against the entire market. Like with the Radical line, like the whole idea behind them is they're trying to be versatile, something anyone you can use. It's like play any shot, I think is the tagline. But I think within Head's own lineup, they do these rackets that are play any shot rackets better in other silos. So it's just like, and they do this over and over. Like, I think a better Radical MP is the Extreme Pro. And I think a better Radical Pro is the Boom Pro. And I don't really see a use for these two rackets, for these two molds. I don't see myself recommending them, given how all these other racket manufacturers seem to do a much better job at like targeting a certain level of performance or offering something unique, whereas Head is just kind of slotting 98s left, right, and center, hoping that something sticks. And then they're putting more and more rubber every time because they hear people complaining that they don't have the feel that they want from the old Head frames. And I think modern Head peaked with Graphene 360 Plus. In general, not every single racket was best with 360 Plus. Like, I think the Radicals peaked in the previous version, Auxetic 1, the Extremes peaked with 360 Plus. The Booms are probably best in Auxetic 2. The Gravities were best in 360 Plus. The Speeds, I think, they just don't really change them. And I want Head to take a minute, trim their lineup, and be a little bit more intentional with the things that they're doing. I want all rackets to be good. I think good rackets are better for the consumer, and they're more fun for me to review. These were not fun for me to review because the whole time I was wishing that they would just at least offer one redeeming factor, one thing that was unique in the marketplace, and they just don't. If you work at Head and you think you're an idiot, Beckett, there's no way you could do a better job product planning, hire me, and I guarantee I will do a better job product planning. I will make better rackets for Head with better vision than anything that is being produced now. I really hope that whatever comes after Auxetic 2.0 turns the corner. I want Head to do well. I want to have fun reviewing these rackets, but I'm simply finding these rackets to be uninspiring. And if I had one question for you, the viewer, I actually have two. Number one, why is this V-Core glossy? And number 2, what would you do to Head's lineup to fix it? Would you trim it? Would you change some things? Would you try to focus it down? Or would you make even more rackets and just hope that one of them sticks? Thanks so much for watching. Play Tweener with me. I want to play Tweener. I've got like only 5 friends on there. I need to have way more friends on Tweener. Private TennCom League in the description below.